All right, Moon Math number 6. Let's get it. We've got some big news here. Mezma just left TradFi. Mezma, tell us a bit more about what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. So I just put in my 2 weeks a few days ago. So I'm officially leaving TradFi on April 15th. I'm extremely excited. It's been a long time coming since 2017. Fell in love with this, and now we're finally working full-time Bitcoin. So I'm extremely excited. Uh, Definitely going to do a little tweet for that uh, to announce where I'm joining. Some people probably already know that are already, in mid-math and digging around. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be fun. Next week, do a little announcement for it.
Fire. No, that's super exciting knowing that you've been trying to do that for past little while. Hyped.
Yeah, man, and it's happened all so fast. And I will mention it is on the Stacks ecosystem, so that's amazing. That's one that we've been talking about for a long time. Extremely excited about Stacks. I think it's the best positioned L2, if you will, for Bitcoin, and everyone's gonna be piling in pretty soon. So I'm really excited to bring some cool products to Bitcoin.
Yeah. Speaking of Bitcoin, some of the stuff on there has been heating up lately, especially runes. Let's talk a bit more about that and continue from our last podcast.
Yeah, we've been talking about runes for a while, and we mention it every podcast because I still think it's inning one, right? Like it's just getting going, right? Well, at least I'm speaking about Ordinals, but they're related, right? Because the founder of Ordinals is also the founder of runes, and that's coming out on the halving, like we mentioned in the previous episodes. So everyone's extremely excited, right? Because we're now a few weeks away from the halving, and the halving's estimated to be on 420. So, of course, like we mentioned, Runes is going to come out on the same day as the halving to try to build off that hype. So everyone's starting to, get prepared. There's no Rune token you can buy yet, but you can buy Ordinals, which are going to give you, an allocation to these Rune tokens come 420. So yeah, lots of hype going on right there. We can get into a few of the projects going on, but it's been great.
So Runestone is an ordinal project.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Let's clarify that again, because we've been trying to hammer this down too. That people are going to get confused, and they're going to think just because the name says Rune that it's more legit or it's the official Runestone or not Runestone. But see how confusing you can get. So let's just go over Runestone as an example. Runestone is not the official project of the Rune protocol, right? But they were building on the hype of the Rune word. And so, yeah, let's just go into excitement around that, at least for now. Runestone is hitting new highs, right?
Yeah,
It's
so
at
is Runestone kind of like the marquee NF or not NFT project, but like ordinal project around runes?
yeah, I would say it's the one, right? Because it's the top project, largest market
It's like the
cap.
punks of
Yep.
rune. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would say so. Yep. So, they were late to the ordinal game, right? It's a recent ordinal. But the whole point is, yeah, like you got rewarded for being an early ordinal user, right? From 2023. And so now it's like and you could view it as the saga, right? In a sense, though it was free, right? Completely different than the saga because the saga now is like the place that all the airdrops are, going to for on Solana. At least it was a
Yeah.
few months ago. It's not as hyped anymore. It just shows you how quick these hype cycles last. And yeah, so now we're just seeing a ton more people trying to buy this rune stone now because they know on 420 they're going to be airdropped these tokens. So it's just like with the saga where everyone's trying to buy the saga, you know? And so
Yeah.
it's really interesting to see this play out. And so mind, I'm thinking, okay, people are just buying this and they're going to dump it as soon as 420 comes around and the halving happens, right? And they just get the runes tokens and they dump them. But in reality, there might be something way bigger happening here long term with Runestone. And yeah, people need to think and zoom out a little more.
Okay, that's interesting. And what's the relationship between runes and like all these like meme coin ideas? Is that just for marketing them and getting them to a bigger audience?
Yeah, it seems like everyone's just doing memes, right? For runes, like for example, we can go into the burials more too because that's just around the corner.
Yeah.
All these projects, they're just, basically saying we're going to give you a rune token, but it's a meme token, right? I haven't seen too many projects where the token they're promising for the rune launch is actually utility revenue generating, right? So it's so early that all the game is just memes right now, well, which is, expected since that's pretty much all crypto right now. But eventually, I think runes could have potential to be, utility based token. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I think on the last podcast we talked about how having like cash flows associated with the tokens is kind of bearish because it's like really hard to appease the crypto community and do something that they deem as like valuable. I guess like Bonk had their like Bonk bot, and you'll see like when these meme coins launch video games, like they're usually just terrible. So it's going to be interesting to see them try to pull off like the fundamental narrative around their meme coin when most meme coins should just stay as like the coin, like
Yep.
Dogecoin. It literally doesn't do anything.
Yeah, no, I remember we were chatting about that. It's a great point. Yeah, long term, right? The ones that are really going to go and stick around. And it's funny when you say that, it's like, oh, it's only going to be the utility based ones that are going to stick around. Well, if you actually look at it, Doge stuck around
Yeah.
and it's been years. So you can't really say, oh, it's going to fade out. I mean, sure, maybe eventually, but it hasn't so far. So you can't really always use that argument as much anymore for certain meme coins. But yeah, um, I think for the ones that are really, going to bring in institutions, those still are massive opportunities, and people are sleeping on them because they're only focused on memes. There will be a massive run for utility-based tokens that will happen.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I was thinking about, like when I was listening to some other podcasts, is that when we're in a crypto bull run, which we are right now, it's not really worth it to invest in fundamental plays. Like, let's say, like plays that have like cash flows associated with them. Because when the bull market comes, sure, like their cash flows go up a lot, but the stuff that really goes up a ton are the things that will like usually never work out. So like last run is like GameFi, like a bunch of like crappy games pumped to like heaven pretty much. This run it's meme coins. And if you're looking to get just a little bit of yield from the crypto ecosystem, let's say like you're lending out your reserves on like BlockFi or something to get what was it last run? Like 15%?
Yeah, I think it was decently high. I'm not sure what the exact amount was, but I
Like
know just
15% is really good in TradFi, but in crypto, if you're just exposed to even like the crappiest of projects, like you're gonna blow that out of the water. And plus, you also have like the zeroing out risk on both of them, except for on the BlockFi one, your upside is only capped to 15%.
yep, for sure. Yeah, thankfully,
So like so when it's like a bull market, it's more worth it to be like invested in these like riskier projects. And then also during the bear market, all the yields in crypto like go away because most of it is fueled by block space demand and leverage, which is like perpetual swaps mostly. So you might
yeah,
as well just like leave the ecosystem in the bear. So there's not many things that are super sustainable compared to their bull market yields.
yeah, so far that is what we've seen, right? And but with certain projects they really do stick out, right? And we've been talking about render for a while, years. And it's like render's not a meme coin, but it's outperformed, you know, 90+% of meme coins. So
Yeah,
that's one where it's
those are
like
the
you,
projects that like we're more comfortable being in because
yes,
they
exactly.
have like a value to them where people will come in and buy. Like that's why like a lot of equities like they won't like they don't really rug because there's cash flows that are behind the equity. So like if they get too low, it's like I'm buying $2 for a dollar.
Right. And yeah, and there's a book value, right? And there's like,
Yeah,
they've
yeah,
tangible real world assets, not seen often in crypto. So
yeah.
very true.
But yeah, these ordinals have been doing super well recently. They're even like surpassing a bunch of ETH NFT projects. Even like maybe not on a price basis, but on a market cap basis. So like the price of all of the NFTs together. So are these projects just like massive, like by the amount of ordinals that are in them?
Yeah, exactly. So right now, for example, Bitcoin Puppets, it's an Ordinal project. Floor price is 0.36 BTC. All right, so $25,000 for one.
Yeah.
And it's now ranked fourth, at least on, the market cap. So that's incredible, right?
Yeah.
You see things like this, and it doesn't, that's the problem is you can go across so many different sites and they all have different rankings. So for example, I'm just on CoinGecko randomly, just looking at their NFT rankings, and they have Bitcoin Puppets as four. Now that's not actually the real ranking. But for example, with Runestone, right? We have a tweet for that one too. It's one of the, I think it's top three market cap NFT projects in the world right now. And
Yeah.
that's
So
just
one
amazing.
runestone is like 4,100 US right now or 0.06 BTC.
Yeah, exactly. So people get confused, right? They're like, oh, well, the floor price is not that high, but it's right, it's the market cap. And most people that are listening understand that, but people still forget, right? It's like you should be checking the market cap. It's like what projects are actually leading. And ordinals are there's several projects now in the top 10, and people need to be paying more attention to it because we're even seeing CryptoPunks start to slide down. But I think it's about to make a new low for the last year or so, which
Yeah.
is that's scary, right? Because why? I mean, whatever the CryptoPunk is of Bitcoin is, in a sense, it very well should be worth more than the Ethereum CryptoPunk. Now, CryptoPunks on Ethereum came first, absolute first mover. Doesn't matter what chain it's on, right? Now, sure, there's other things like colored coins way back, way when during Bitcoin, early Bitcoin times. But, you know, long term, I could easily see Bitcoin taking that top spot. CryptoPunks being an afterthought. So we'll see.
Yeah. Very interesting seeing the switch of Bitcoin ordinals versus Ethereum NFTs. I mean, that's why like some people, this guy on Twitter, Tyler Durden, is saying if you're an Ethereum, pivot to Bitcoin.
Yes. Yep.
And
That was from
if
today.
you're yeah, if you're not really tapped into what Bitcoin is doing, it's easy to just like brush that off because for the longest time Bitcoin didn't really do anything, right?
That's the
It's
thing.
just kind of like a pet rock.
Yep. And it's funny because we saw ordinals as the push to actually get people to see this future, right? It wasn't until ordinals in 2023 and where people were like, oh, wait a second, there's fee demand from this. What's next? And then, of course, people, start speculating to L2s like stacks, and stacks started having its massive run. And it's interesting, right? That something like Ordinals started that off. But when you look at it, it's because of those fees. when the fees are rising, it's a necessity, right, to bring those down. We need to. Like
Yeah.
if this really is long term going to be the money of the planet, the fees are going to be low eventually, right? And so, and even for normal day people, right, like using this around the world, those fees were killer for people that wanted to buy their coffee. That actually does happen in many countries, not the US, not Canada, but that's why there's this huge push to make my point, right? 2023, because the fees were too high.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that something like Ordinals could start this massive run on Bitcoin, and now we're seeing runes too. And it's just like, what's next? This is ending one for Bitcoin as a Swiss Army knife, right? Because forever Ethereum's been the Swiss Army knife, Bitcoin's a pet rock, and that's changing now. And we've been calling that for months, right? If people haven't seen this in 2023, you should have switched your mind. It's something should have changed in 2023, and if it didn't, you should change it now because you still have time.
Yeah. Where do you see Bitcoin going in the near term right now? What's your like short term outlook? Because it's the halvings in like a week, right? Is it
Yeah,
gonna make a push?
my original thinking was that we'd have, a little bit of a dip on the halving, because usually we do. And it's funny, 'cause I was listening to Kathy Wood in a podcast recently. She was asked this question, like, what's going to happen? Usually the miners who, the weakest miners fall off and they're forced to sell their Bitcoin and then sell their, mining equipment, and businesses shut down for them. And that typically has caused a little bit of dip in Bitcoin after the halving, right before we do the huge run up. And also people not understanding that it's not an instant thing that Bitcoin just goes up right on the day of the halving. So those noobs, they fall off. And so, Kathy was asked about this very specific situation, like would we have the normal little dip after the halving? And she mentioned that she didn't think so because there really are these institutional players now that understand these things that have happened in the past for Bitcoin, and they're ready to arbitrage this away. So we might not, we really shouldn't see the things we always are used to, and that's always really the case. In Bitcoin, it always does something a little different, and we're seeing that. Like we want to hammer this down that the fact that Bitcoin has made an all-time high for the halving for the first time in history is wild. And yeah, some really crazy things happening right now. So to answer your question, I think we go way higher. Exactly when, I don't know, but we're going way higher, at least in the short term.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And yeah,
Let's look.
exactly when do we top off? I mean, I have no idea. That's what I meant to say there. I think in the short term, there's really, yeah, I've said it before, and this is super bullish. Kathy Woods said 1 million by 2030, but there's a really good chance we could hit 1 million within the next year or two. And that sounds crazy, but it's realistic. So I want to throw that out there for sure.
Yeah, and also Nakamoto's coming out soon to coincide with that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was trying to branch that earlier, which is that, right? Like these ordinals, they've pushed us now into this DeFi realm, right? So people that were, you know, first introduced to Bitcoin being more than just pet rock, oh, now we can trade ordinals. They're now also seeing we can do DeFi too. So the stack's blown up, right? And so once this upgrade goes through for Nakamoto and the blocks go down to 5 seconds, right? That's the main thing everyone talks about. I've got something else to add to that. That's really cool that Tycho.BTC from Zest and Second DAO mentioned, which is sBTC. sBTC is also going to be coming for stacks. And this is arguably more impactful than the Nakamoto 5 seconds because of the liquidity, right? Be able to get all this liquidity from Bitcoin seamlessly onto stacks. That's a massive idea. And we'll throw up some information there if people want to read more because that's a really cool idea. I think that's being slept on. Everyone in the Stacks ecosystem understands 5 second blocks, but the sBTC is a big deal. And I think it should get a little more love. And it's cool that Tycho put that thread out there. So we'll link that.
Yep, for sure. Well, yeah, this is something we were talking about earlier, is that when we did the video on Alex, which is on Mezma's channel, if you want to check that out, there's not really that much volume on Stacks yet. I was saying there's not really too many things they could buy. Like you can buy Welsh, a few other coins, but that's really it. And that's like one of the main things that will drive Stacks adoption. So I feel like once sBTC comes through, that's gonna change a lot. But we still
Yeah,
need the projects over on Stacks to get everything going.
yeah, that's the thing. Right now, we should probably talk about a couple of those projects that, we've been following for a while that are still in the works, right? So Zest, right?
Yeah,
We're just talking about that because it's Tycho. That place is, the place it's in right now is a perfect opportunity for people, right? Because Zest, you could think of it like the Aave for stocks, right? In Bitcoin, right? It's going to be the lending hub, right? That's what they're trying to go for. And so what's cool is they're still actually sending out whitelist invites, right? To go try out their platform. So definitely be trying to sign up on their website. Try to follow Tycho, see what he's up to, follow Zast, and see if you can get an invite and try out Zast because that's a really cool platform coming for Stacks and probably going to release something exciting here soon. So people should be paying attention.
the Stacking DAO rebrand.
Yeah,
Big
Stacking
news
DAO,
there.
very
Yeah,
cool. I love their new colors. I think yeah, it's just something I wanted to cover because Stacking DAO obviously is a major player in stacks and it's bringing a ton of liquidity, right, to all the dApps in the ecosystem. And it's just great to see that they're, pushing forward. They have a rebrand there and love to see it. Stacking DAO is, we've been farming points from Stacking DAO for a while and we're excited to get their governance token probably coming out in the next few months. And yeah, they have a point ranking page going now. It's really clean. It's been there for a little while now, but some updates here and there. Uh, yeah, you should be going in there and seeing all the different ways that you guys can use your stack STX because there's a lot more ways than people think. And yeah, just diversify your staked stacks across the ecosystem and try out every DApp you can on stacks. And I'd say that's what we're doing. I think it's the best strategy.
yeah, I agree with that. And then our favorite mascot of Stacks is breaking out again after a tough few weeks. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, Welsh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Welsh is looking great. Just did a tweet for Welsh yesterday. Had a little nap there for a bit, but waking up just like it did in February, right? Just took a little break and now it's breaking out of this little, long wedge it had. And yeah, it looks ready to go. Still have that target $1. Let's see where she goes from here, but Welsh is the one for sure. Welsh is the one for stacks. And yeah, still hold all the other meme coins on stacks. We love them all. Got not even though there's some battle there. We still have yeah, and then Rue from Jack. And there's a bunch of meme coins on there, and people are getting airdrop them every day. And people are like, oh, should we sell them? Should we hold them? I just hold them because usually they're only worth $10-20 when you get them. And yeah, you don't want to be the guy that sold them for $10-20 if one of them flats. So just hold them, see where they go, and yeah, I think we're in prime spot here for stacks. Like I've been saying it, been calling that for a while and just still grinding up. I think stacks is around $3.30 today. It's just like this steady grind up. but I think we're ready for the really big push to, double digits. Because that's where it belongs, that's it Stacks deserves to be much higher. And so I think we're in a perfect position here. Nakamoto coming up, 5 second blocks, sBTC liquidity, runes, ordinals, Bitcoin hype is huge. 2024, 2025, Bitcoin is the main character. The Bitcoin black hole is real. People need to wake up to it. And we're going to be focused on this as much as we can. We still have a lot of other, picks, projects we're really excited about in other ecosystems. And we'll continue to cover those. But yeah, I think Bitcoin, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up for anyone that's not on this wave yet.
And what's happening with STXS as of recently?
Yeah, yeah, STXS. So we bought that on the STX20 marketplace I don't know what it was, a month or so ago. And then of course they listed Alex Dex. So they were able to get off the STX20 site and actually be, on the Stacks platform. You can swap Stacks for STXS. Yeah, no, it had a great move up during that news, and now I think it's people taking profit for Stacks, and we'll see where it goes. So it's on a little dip right now, but still very bullish on that whole ecosystem they have going there and the team behind them. And yeah, we'll see where that one. I think I think it's tough, right? Because there's a lot of competition right now, and it's not that hard for meme coins to just list on the normal way with Stack Swap Decks or Alex. So it's going to be tough for Stacks 20 to keep the attention they have. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. Still going to just hold that one strong.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
That's it for me. We'll have a lot of updates, in the next few weeks. It's going to get really crazy on Bitcoin, runes, Nakamoto, everything. So we're going to have a lot more updates coming. So people should stay tuned. Come check out the Moon Math Discord. A lot of people in there, talking about runes and ordinals lately. And so, yeah, come in there and check out everything going on. We've got some couple whales in there just discovered today. They've been mining away some runes with the burials ordinal project, so that's been really cool. Really always fun to see people in that group and what they do. They come out and then you just had never known it the whole time. So yeah, if you're in the group, say hello. If you're not, come join.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Hope to see you in the next video. Peace.
Later.